It's back to school time, and all I hear is...
Let's go shopping for Levi's, Adidas, Nike, and Lee.
They say...
Come on, Mom, now!
And I say the only place we're going is JCPenney for their national brand guarantee. If I find the same national brand item for less somewhere else, JCPenney will refund the difference. So, my daughter says...
Great, then we'll have money left over for ice cream.
I say don't count on it, but I do have some broccoli for you back home.
JCPenney, I love your style.
See store for details.
Conversationalists all across the fruited plain. Time for the second hour of broadcast excellence here from the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. My name is Rush Limbaugh, and I have talent on loan from God.
Live from New York, it's Open Line Friday!
Open Line Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, this means that you as callers have a little bit greater opportunity to get on the air than otherwise. We don't change the rules. We just open up the universe of subject matter. Normally, this is a program about the news of the day. Friday, it can be the news of the week, the news of the month, even the news of the year. If you wanted to talk about something some time ago you couldn't get through, this is the day to try. Phone number, again, is 800-282-2882. Email address, rush@eibnet.com. There's a story in the Baltimore Sun today. It's actually a column in the Baltimore Sun by Susan Reimer. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but it's again, the New York Times today has a story, embarrassed, angry, forgiving, women speak out on Clinton. A lot of people are trying to figure out what it is that keeps women in a very tight lip lock with the president here, despite behavior which is profoundly disrespectful to women. A lot of people are curious. Susan Reimer writes, like feathers from a monstrous pillow fight, there are seamy, sinister, soulless ideas loose in the air around our children. Exploitation by the first father of a girl young enough to be his daughter. Lying. The betrayal and public humiliation of the first mother. What is that? First mother. More lying. Crude sexual servicing beyond the imagination of kids just awakening to the notion of kissing. And then still more lying. What, is that the cigar story she's alluding? See, here's another reference to it. Try as she might, no parent can get these feathers back into the pillow now. Failing to protect, at a loss to explain, I did the last best thing. I gave my adolescent children and their closest friends a chance to talk it through. So here's a mother, she's very worried about what all of her kids are thinking about this. What do they think? Is their world coming apart? See, here, one of the things that I've noticed is when we talk about the children, is that people are always under the impression that these kids are very, very fragile, and they cannot handle the hard, cold realities without drugs or without some sort of counseling, some kind of kid glove treatment. We must be gentle with our children. You know, they're very fragile beings and all that, which I summarily reject. And so here's all this news about the president with all these stories, all these difficult challenges. How do I explain this to my kids? And here's this woman, the Baltimore Sun, writing, oh, I got to ask them about it. What do they think? And she was stunned. This woman writes, she was stunned with the answers that her kids gave her. You know what her kids said to do? Forget him, Mom. Dump him and move on. Their hearts were as cold and hard as stone, and their tongues were quick and cruel. They were unforgiving. But what if it was your father, I asked, trying to lasso this distant drama and bring it home to them? Wouldn't you want your mother to try to forgive your father and keep the family together? Wouldn't you be sad if your father had to leave? One 12-year-old said without hesitation and without compassion, no, I'd want my mother to kick him out. He can see us on weekends if he wants to see us that bad. Out of the mouths of babes, I thought. No managing of the truth, no verbal tiptoeing, no stage-managed sincerity, no poll-driven contrition, no God, no preacher visits, no Bible verses, no forgiveness. In the black and white world of children, Bill Clinton has crossed some moral line, a line we arrogant parents thought to paint for them, and these children have cut him bloodlessly out of their hearts. That has not been true for me. I was in a fury in January when the Lewinsky tape surfaced, because I believed instantly that it was true. The first president from my generation, showing himself to be the incarnation of every bad thing ever said about us. We're self-centered pleasure seekers, no sense of personal responsibility. But that fury turned to tears of frustration days later when he made his State of the Union speech and laid my social conscience before the nation. I agreed with everything he said. How could I hate the sin but love the sinner's national agenda? Since then, I've hoped that there was some way Clinton could make it right, make it okay for me to believe in his presidency again. His speech Monday night failed to do that. Misled, false impression, inappropriate relationship. His words of explanation fell on my heart like hail on a tin roof. When he began to accuse the accusers, I had the taste of metal in my mouth. As is so often the case, when you seek to comfort children, it is you who are comforted. This country should not dignify the president's crude and compulsive need for physical relief by impeaching him for it. And because she is the first lady and she lives in a world more complex than these children can yet imagine, Chelsea's mother cannot dump his clothes out the windows of the White House and change the locks on the doors. But we can. We can put an end to our search for a reason to reconcile. We can stop grieving for our tainted past and our lost future with this man. We can dump him and move on. Again, that's Susan Reimer. She may pronounce it Reamer, I'm not sure, but in the Baltimore Sun. Her kids opened the door of reality for her. Then you go to this New York Times story, and it is just a hoot. Do you realize what vindication this is for all of us, folks? Do you realize what, every day? Do you realize how, if we wished to, in a very classy way, we could proclaim how we were right all along and how the things that we've said have finally come true? All the warnings that were issued back in the 92 campaign have now been realized as valid warnings. Janie Scott writes this story. You know, there's something startling about the vocabulary that women who have supported President Clinton now use in conversations about him. Phrases like skirt chaser, laughing stock, nouns like idiot and jerk, adjectives like feckless, sleazy, self-indulgent, gross. But it's equally striking that so many of the same women want Clinton to remain in office. They say he's been a friend to women. Even now, they could imagine voting for him again if he were able to run. Some of the quotes are mind-boggling. "I've been surprised by how profoundly this has shaken me," said Nell Minow, a shareholder activist and mother of two from Virginia. "On behalf of the 24-year-old girl that I used to be and the 46-year-old wife that I am now, I feel very shaken and betrayed on a personal level." You know, I go through all this, and I read Susan Reimer's piece, and I read all these quotes in the New York Times, and I'm not just saying this, because I have been saying it for 6 years. It's a genuine question. What is it that has enabled some of us to see the truth without any doubt, and so many others who probably didn't see it? It's not that they saw it and wanted to ignore it. It's that they didn't see it in the first place. What accounts for it? It's such a simple open and shut case. Deciphering and explaining this particular man and his personality and his techniques. And of course, the answers they really depress you, because the answers are, well, you can fool all the people all the time. People are basically sitting around waiting to have things handed to them, and the more you hand them, the more they're going to love you, or what have you. I continue to read this stuff, and I read all the stuff about the Democrats. There's another story now. There's a story circulating that the woman on a late-night radio show who used to be news director at CNN says, and I don't know how she knows it, but she says that Starr has even more women testifying before the grand jury about sex in the White House. She said she went to the White House once as the guest. This Christine Dolan went to the White House as guest of a campaign donor to a hard money fundraiser in the White House. $50,000 was the price to get in. She said she knows that Linda Tripp testified before the grand jury that she saw data being entered into computers from those 900 FBI files. I mean, the more stuff leaks out on this, the more indications we have of what's going to be in this report, and the more the Democrats hear and see about it, the more predictable their reactions become. It's mind-boggling that it takes all this for some people to see the truth. Go through any of these scandals. Go through last night, Larry King asking Roger Clinton, "Why are so many people so angry at your brother?" See, this is the one thing the liberals have never understood. I did probably an hour monologue on this subject, total of an hour. I did a half-hour monologue twice, same day about this, and it is, because so many people requested it, it is the focus of the next issue of the Limbaugh letter, this rage, this anger. And it's easy to explain to people why people are angry at this president. Going back to the campaign of 1992. From the trashing of Ronald Reagan, to the trashing of the economy of the 1980s, to the abject lies about all that, to the lies that were told the American people about what would be the fixes for all these problems, what we saw this man doing in order to get elected, to turn this nation into a bunch of vegetables on the take. I mean, it's a no-brainer for so many of us. Anyway, maybe the chickens are coming home to roost now, ladies and gentlemen, as more and more of this leaks out, and the president seems to have fewer and fewer people willing, other than paid consultants, to... there was a tacit deal between the Democrats and Clinton, and that is, you give us an issue we can demagogue the Republicans on. Give us the tobacco issue, give us something. And we'll work together. We'll try to get the Democrats in control of the House of Representatives. But throughout these past 7 months, the president hadn't been able to demagogue one issue because he hasn't been able to get traction out there on one issue. Be it tobacco or HMO reform or the Medicare scares. They've even gone back in the past couple of weeks to trying to threaten the country with a government shutdown again and set the country up for believing the Republicans want to shut down the government. And there isn't any fear out there in the country that that's actually going to happen. They're going back to their own groove yard of forgotten favorites. What's slowly becoming being made aware to people is that this entire administration has been nothing but spin, 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 spin. And once you lose the ability to spin, then It's all over, and they can't spin this stuff anymore. Not with the admission that he lied. So now all these people who had all this hope invested are now beginning to write these columns and stories, hoping to cleanse themselves and to explain when their moment of truth with this president was, when it was that they woke up, what it was that caused them to finally see what they had not seen or ignored or misunderstood or whatever all these past 6 years. Whatever, if you add all this up, how does all this stuff get put back together again? Especially after the November elections, when true lame duck status sets in, because the presidential race for the year 2000 begins the day after those elections. And the current occupant of the White House is at that moment truly lame, even more so than during a standard second term. I'm a little long here in this segment. Got to take a quick break. We'll do that and be back in just a second, folks. Stay with us. Don't go away.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
You know, my friends, there's only one investment that's been around for 5,000 years, gold. And Blanchard & Company is the world's leading dealer of the world's best-selling gold investment, the American Eagle Gold Bullion Coin, the only coin guaranteed by the U.S. government for weight, content, and purity. Today, gold is the one investment that is not dependent on anyone's promise to repay. When you own gold American Eagles, you own something solid. So if you're thinking of adding gold to your investment portfolio, call the good people at Blanchard & Company.
In order to buy low and sell high, the first thing you have to do is buy low. The price of gold is near an 18-year low. No other investment category offers investors such an attractive opportunity to buy at a low price. Certainly not stocks, not bonds, not real estate. Nothing is as undervalued as gold is today. The Gold American Eagle will be a solid and secure addition to your investment portfolio. Call Blanchard now, 1-800-880-GOLD. That's 1-800-880-GOLD.
Tony Conza, founder of Blimpie Subs and Salads.
Tony, tuna sandwich here. Me and the other Blimpie sandwiches got together and we think you've been playing favorites.
What?
You've been calling a certain sandwich the best for years. What does that make us?
Oh, you mean the Blimpie Best. That's just a name. Sure, it's got prosciutto, capicola, salami, ham, provolone, and choice toppings, all on freshly baked bread. But to me, you're all beautiful things. Tuna? Hello?
Blimpie is a beautiful thing.
There's a new food safety label appearing on raw meat and poultry packages in the grocery store. Now you might be saying to yourself, why another label? Good question. And the answer is for your good health. Sure, you know how to cook up a hamburger, but do you remember to wash your hands before and after you handle that meat? When you're eating out, do you ask that your burger be cooked all the way through? Or do you say, just cook it till the cow stops mooing? Well, the Department of Agriculture has been studying foodborne illnesses, and they found out that what our mothers said was true.
Wash your hands, cook the meat thoroughly, and put it back in the fridge when you're done with it.
Heck, my mother would be proud of the folks at Agriculture. They're picking up where she left off. So go ahead, read and follow the new label. Why? Because your mother would want you to.
Hey, listen up, folks. If this president has you shocked, outraged, or simply dazed and confused, I want you to take down this telephone number, 800-457-4141. Call that number and reserve your subscription to the Limbaugh Letter. The Limbaugh Letter is the one publication that can guide you through the maze of recent developments with verifiable facts and my clear, concise analysis of the key issues. Order today, and you also get my hugely popular charter member Vast Right-Wing Conspiracy coffee mug. It's good for you Arkansas bashers, too. Plus, you'll receive my list of liars. This is a bonus report. It details the many Clinton scandals and how often Bill Clinton's version of the truth differs from others around him. So do this. Call 800-457-4141 now to take advantage of this great offer. A year subscription to the Limbaugh Letter, the Conspiracy Coffee Mug, and the list of liars. All three are just $32.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling. It's a limited time offer, so call now, 800-457-4141. Open line Friday, Rush Limbaugh to Napa, California, one of the most beautiful spots in the country. Sherry, hello. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rush. Good to talk to you again. Mega Vent Magazine dittos. Hello,
Thank
Marta.
You. Thank you very much.
You asked the other day about whether or not the gory details of this should come out, and I don't think it should, because I think that we really should focus on the legal issues of this. And personally, I think he should resign, but if impeachment comes, then I think Congress has a constitutional duty to follow through the process anyway. I think by giving the details specifically, it gives liberals the chance to say, yeah, see, it's just about sex. So I just thought you'd like to know another woman's point of view about that.
I want to read to you an interesting email I got from a guy in Phoenix.
Okay.
About this.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, what she's responding to, when the cigar story came out the other day, I asked the people of this audience, do you want to know this stuff or not? Would you, if given the chance, turn your radio down when this stuff was going to be announced, would you turn it down or would you listen to it? And she's responding, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't think it matters. It doesn't make it any more illegal in terms of high crime and misdemeanor activity. I disagree with that, because I don't think high crime and misdemeanor means illegal. But at the same time, there are a lot of people who say, no, it won't make a difference, and just echo what Sherry here said. As long as we keep talking about sex, it's just going to give the liberals an opportunity to say, see, all it is about sex. Well, listen to this note. Rush, I think the real goal of the Clinton spinmeisters is to get the subject off of sex, because that's exactly what the American people do pay attention to. I think your wife categorized this best over a year ago when she said the debate is not conservative versus liberal, it's the informed versus the uninformed. And because of this sex scandal nobody cares about, supposedly, more people now understand what an independent counsel does, how an independent counsel is appointed, and how an independent counsel gets his authority. We understand more about almost everything in politics because of the sex part of this story, since that's what's riveted our attention. And furthermore, more people will turn in to a summit speech with Boris Yeltsin, if he's still in power, to see if anybody has the audacity to ask Clinton about Monica or cigars. If you take the sex angle out of this, you take the Monica sex angle out of this, you think people are going to pay attention to Clinton and Yeltsin at 2 o'clock in the morning? I think it'll be good for the country to understand the process of impeachment. I think there are members in both parties that would prefer we go back to paying attention to Oprah and Jerry Springer instead of people like you and Chris Matthews. The Democrats and some Republicans would love us to go back to reading the sports sections instead of the op-ed pages. But this guy's point, Sherry, is that it is the sex that has kept everybody riveted, and because of the attention they're paying, they're learning a lot more about the American political system than they otherwise would know, and on that basis, it's good.
Well, I guess that's a good point. I never really thought of it like that.
It is a good point. I thought so, too.
It's just sick, I guess. The whole thing just makes my stomach turn, but I don't know. I think just the one detail did me in. So next time you say it, I think I'll just turn the radio down.
Well, I'm not. I'm okay. Well, you will have ample warning if there are any more of those types of details, or if I'm going to mention that one again. You will have ample warning. But let me just say one thing, Sherry. I have to disagree with you on another area. I'm reading all these columns about women. Here's this woman from the Baltimore Sun, Susan Reimer, and here's this story on women in the New York Times today, and it's all about their moment of truth. What is causing them to awaken? What's causing them to finally get it? So much of this we all got years ago, but now they're just starting to get. I think that it is things like that cigar story which are going to shock some of these people into the reality of what they or who they have been supporting. My whole gambit here to describe what I do in that way from the get-go has been an informed public. That has been my sole goal. Anybody who has worked with me over the course of the 10 years plus years of this program will tell you that the objective every day is to simply inform as many people as possible about the truth. Give them all the data and information possible just so that they can then make informed decisions, because I've always believed that the future of this country and the greatness of this country depends on an informed, participating population. They can do with the information what they wish. I try to influence that too, but the point to me is that they be informed. I think this is part of being informed, getting a full, complete picture of the kind of people you're dealing with in Washington. Getting a good night's sleep is next to impossible if you're having trouble breathing through your nose. If that's your problem, you need to use Breathe Right nasal strips when you go to bed. Breathe Right strips will gently and instantly pull open your nasal passages so you can breathe easier. As a result, you sleep better without using drugs. Breathe Right, sleep tight. You'll find Breathe Right strips in the cough and cold section of your favorite store. Try them tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They work. You'll be amazed.
New age educators across the country know that the old school ways of teaching kids the basics through practice, memorization, and hard work are great ways to get your kid to learn things. But the effects on their self-esteem could be very negative. So now, from the people who brought you Creative Spelling, it's the new Creative Geography.
Okay, Billy, what's the capital of Pakistan?
Des Moines?
That's right. Hug.
Yes, New Age educators know that being correct can disturb the creative process, leading to lowering of self-esteem. That's why we encourage kids to be creative with their answers.
Let's try this again. How many continents are there? Let me give you a hint. It's between 1 and 10.
43?
Oh, I know who's going to get a smiley face on his paper today.
Can I go out and play now?
And now, there's creative history.
Who discovered America?
Joan of Arc?
If that's good enough for you, then it's good enough for me.
And who could forget creative math?
What's 10 times 10?
3?
Good. What's 7 times 5?
3?
Oh, you're just a little genius.
The Creative Series from New Age educators, keeping your kids stupid, but feeling really good about themselves for years. And coming soon, New Age Economics. Election year 96's biggest blockbuster is here. A skilled team of young politicos attempts what could be the most difficult task in the history of presidential elections.
Good evening, Mr. Phelps. Your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to make Bill Clinton look like a conservative. Should the president be caught in a lie, he will disavow any knowledge of you. The tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good luck, Jim.
I can't do that. Nobody can do that.
Bill Clinton's White House staffers star in Mission Impossible.
I've invaded KGB headquarters, raided files. I've been in Saddam Hussein's office, but I've never had to do anything this tough before.
Mission Impossible, the story of a crack team of PR people who are pushed to their limits, trying to give Bill Clinton some sense of credibility.
Okay, today he'll say he's against gay marriages. And he has put 100,000 cops on the streets.
Oh, yeah, sure. Like the public's going to believe that. Why don't you just have him announce he's for meaningful welfare reform? No, have him say he likes Tommy Thompson's welfare plan. Gee!
Mission Impossible. Better see this one. There may not be a sequel.
My friends, I've just come up with something could be a lot of fun. We all remember where we were when we heard the news that President Kennedy had been shot. And you all remember that precise moment when you first heard me. Everybody who first heard this program will never, ever forget what they were doing when they first heard this program. So, how about this? Where were you when you first realized Clinton was Clinton? What were you doing when your moment of truth with Bill Clinton occurred? Here's Joan in Seattle. I'm glad you called, Joan. Appreciate your patience. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Rush. Megaditos. I just want to thank you for being there. It's an honor to speak with you again.
Thank you.
My husband and I have been listening to you for years, and I must say you're a significant factor in our maintaining optimism. The reason I called is in the first hour you opened up with a commentary saying that the leadership requires respect from the citizenry. And I would like to say that I believe that it's just as important, or perhaps even more important, that the president must respect his citizenry, and you don't lie to people that you respect. He's been lying to us throughout both of his campaigns and his presidency, and that tells me he obviously doesn't respect us, being the amoral person.
Well, now, when did you first realize that?
Oh, before he was even elected. That's why I didn't vote for him.
Okay, see, the same thing with me. This is. I mean, I developed a phrase to describe the Clinton apparatus that before they was the Clinton campaign's modus operandi. I mean, they got up every day, and the first thing they asked themselves was, "How can we fool them today?" I mean, their whole approach from the beginning, folks, and you Clinton supporters, I want you to hear this because this is what a lot of us think. This is what a lot of us know. Their whole approach from the beginning was how to fool everybody. They created crises that didn't exist. They created hysteria and panic where it wasn't necessary. They set out to divide people. They lied about economic circumstances of recent years and long ago. And she's exactly right. The Clinton apparatus sought to fool people every day. And it is a good question. How much respect can they have had for the people? And yet the Clinton supporters think that there's this bond of understanding and trust that's unbreakable. And that's what's been so difficult to fathom, how some people can be so gullible. It really boils down to nothing more complicated than that. Tom Cell Call, Hartford, Connecticut. Welcome.
Right, Rush. How you doing today?
Pretty good, thank you.
Rush, do you remember the sight of Nixon when he stood up and he said, "I am not a crook"? I mean, we've seen that. Do you remember how that made you feel back when Nixon said that?
I remember him saying it, but I've got mixed emotions about that. Why don't you go ahead and make your point about it?
Well, my point is there's a book called The Great Depression in 1990. It was written by an economist, I believe. His name was Ravi Batra. Anyway, he mentions an Indian philosopher, Asian Indian philosopher, who discovered that through his study of societies throughout history, he discovered that every society mimics the moral cues from their leadership of the time. And this is not an isolated case. This is every case that he studied. Now, we're being told that a leader's character is insignificant, and the moral conduct and the moral character of the president is of little influence to the American people, and that the individuals decide on their own. While I agree that that's for personal choice, the populace can't help but be influenced by the constant focus on the president's behavior, which he brought on himself, I might add. And it's important to remember that he may very well have broken the law, and that's why we must discuss it, and that's why we must focus on what the president did and what he lied about, and that the media's attention to this and their dismissal of it, their dismissal of it, tells the people that it's okay, that lying's okay, that affairs are okay, and that you don't have to say you're sorry. Just get up and say, "Hey, I regret it. I'm sorry I did it."
Do you think the media is still dismissing it?
I often see them saying, yes, constantly dismissing it and saying that it's of little.
Well, wait, maybe you should get specific. What do you hear them dismissing?
Dismissing what he did. I hear them dismissing what he did, the fact that he lied, the fact that has little or no influence on the American people and the American people's perception, not only of the president, but of their own behavior. And I disagree with that. I believe that it has a tremendous impact on the people. I think it has a tremendous impact on their behavior. And history does prove out that people do follow what their leadership does. And more importantly, that the media, the people in the media, keep getting up and saying that what he did is his own business and it only affected himself and his family, which is definitely true. It affected all of us. And it gave us, the American people and the world, an impression of who we are and what we're about. And when he's gone about demonstrating to the American people and everyone that he is an example of what we are, then I think we have a definite problem with our perception of the president, and we have a definite problem with the way that we interpret what he does and how he affects us.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate your phone call. Up next is Denise in Sacramento. You're next. I'm glad you waited. Hello.
Hello, Rush. Dittos from Sacramento.
Thank you very much.
And dittos for the lady in Seattle, because we also appreciate you very much and admire the work that you do.
Oh, you're very, very kind.
I think it's important.
You're kind.
Listen, I just wanted to make a comment. I'm driving into work this morning, and I hear these ladies that are, talking to the New York Times saying, oh, we're just so personally offended by, what he's done, and they're just taking all of this just so incredibly personally. And I just wanted to make a comment.
That is amazing, isn't it? They're taking it personally.
You just how is it that these women are so blind that they did not see this snake in the grass a long, long time ago?
But even beyond that, Denise, I mean, you just hit on, they're taking it personally. Now, I understand he did lie to us and all that, but he didn't lie to, he lied to our face on television. But they are acting like he is their husband in life.
Like he's a relative or something.
Yeah.
The guy is, basically an idiot that's been lying to us all for a very long time. And the fact that these women are taking it personally, and the fact that they're of their gender doing this is an insult to me. I am offended by the women that put this man in office. I am offended that I hear my husband say to me, it's women that put this man in office, and I, as a gender, am offended by that. And I just want everybody to know that not all women are idiots. A lot of us saw this man a long time ago for exactly what he is. And I think it's important that people out there understand this is not just a gender thing, because there are some of us out there that aren't like that.
All right, Denise, thank you very much. Great call. Appreciate it. Gail, Gillette, Wyoming. Hello, you are on Open Line Friday.
Thank you, Rush. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate your support of logic and a set of standards that's beyond our own personal desires. And the thing I wanted to talk about was, I'm a sixth grade teacher and have been for over 20 years. I've taught elementary school. And the same patterns of denial that I see in juvenile children is what I see in our president. Denial until you have no options. Distracting by attacking or blaming others, other children. And it is so obvious. I'm sure all elementary teachers across America are seeing this for exactly what it is.
You would think so. And, of course, it's hit rock bottom this week with the president and his team now saying, well, hey, what I did is no different than what FDR or Eisenhower did.
Mm-hmm. I know, and it's that old distraction, and that my teacher friends and I, we all just shake our head and say, grow up. You're so juvenile. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, Rush, is, everybody said, well, if he had just come forward on that Monday and confessed everything, well, we probably would have given him a chance. Well, after 7 months of denial and distraction and blaming, what honor is there in confessing when you're up against the wall and your options are gone? Where is the honor in that? You take responsibility. He said he took responsibility. But, I have to teach my children at school that when you take responsibility, that equals accepting consequences. You don't just verbalize it and say, oh, yeah, I did it, and I'll take responsibility, and now we're done.
No, I agree with you 100%. But what these people mean, Gail, and this is I think a symptom of our times, and you're right. There are a lot of people out there saying, if he'd have just admitted it, really admitted it, and really acted like he was sorry, really was remorseful, really apologized for everybody, he'd have really done it. What they're saying is that the pain that he would obviously have been in, the amount of emotion that he would have been conveying would have been enough to make people swoon again. To the people who are suggesting that he should have done it better, what they're suggesting is that we needed a better performance. They're not saying we need some real honor, we need some real integrity, we need some real decency, what they're all saying is, and this is what Dee Dee Myers admitted too, I was disappointed with the performance. We have a performance president. And the curtain went up, and for the first time in 6 years, there was not a performance that was at least of the expectations everybody had, or much less above those expectations. And so now the inability to perform has got a lot of people worrying, because this has been a performance presidency. If you lose from the spin to the biting of the lower lip to the phony, faked, contrived emotions, all that performance capability, if it's gone, then so is this administration and every bit of relatability that it's had with people, because that's how phony it's actually all been, a performance-based presidency. Quick break, back with more on Open Line Friday in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
You satisfied with the bed you're sleeping on right now? Yeah, you probably say you are. You don't think a bed's any big deal. Let me tell you something. I got a bed for you that will improve your sleep. You will think it's the best bed you've ever slept on. You can try it 3 months free to see if I'm right. It is the Select Comfort Adjustable Firmness Mattress, long sponsor of this program. And I tell you, I talked to a bunch of people now who have one of these beds because I have so encouraged their use. I talked to a guy yesterday who said this bed is the singular finest sleeping experience of his life. Now, that's quite a statement. It can be yours, too. Doesn't matter whether you have back pain or neck pain. Just you want a good bed. You want the best bed you've ever had. Select Comfort Adjustable Firmness Mattresses are for you. As I say, they're offering a 90-night free in-home trial. You risk nothing. Call them at 1-800-GET-A-BED. Do it now. That's 800-GET-A-BED. You will thank me for this, folks. 1-800-GET-A-BED. Call them now.
Hi, Click and Clack the Tappert Brothers here for the Auto Safety Hotline.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Let's say you're driving down your street. You're getting ready to turn into your driveway, and all of a sudden you got no brakes.
Yeah?
What do?
I head right for my neighbor's lawn so I don't run over my wife's pack of sand.
No, seriously. Let's say you take it to the dealer, and he says, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Then what do?
Then I call the Auto Safety Hotline at 1-800-424-9393.
Right. The Auto Safety Hotline collects information about problems that make cars unsafe to drive.
Now, maybe the brake failure is the result of a leak from when you ran over that petrified redwood limb.
Yeah, I remember.
But maybe it's a manufacturing defect. How are you going to know?
By calling the Auto Safety Hotline at 1-800-424-9393.
If there's already been a recall on your car that you didn't hear about, they'll tell you.
And if there hasn't been, your report might lead to one. Who knows? You could help prevent injuries and even save lives.
So if your car has a problem that you believe makes it unsafe,
having my brother behind the wheel doesn't count, by the way.
Call the Auto Safety Hotline at 1-800-424-9393.
The Auto Safety Hotline is a free service of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to see the world through the eyes of a child? Well, if that child has vision problems, you might not like what you see. Children don't know they're not seeing well. And while school vision screenings are good, they may not be good enough. Only a complete professional eye examination can find potential vision problems and help your child get ready to learn. Remember, 80% of learning is visual, and as many as 1 out of 4 kids have vision problems, significant enough to prevent them from succeeding as they should in school. Please see to it that your child has a comprehensive vision exam by an eye care professional, and make the world a better place to see through a child's eyes. This message is brought to you by the American Foundation for Vision Awareness.
Friday, it's El Rushball, the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-caring, all-concerned Maha Rushy, your highly trained broadcast specialist. I always try to take a few more phone calls on Open Line Friday. We do so at our own risk, admittedly. Here is Kim from Houston, California. Hi.
Hi, Rush. We're calling from Houston with a bunch of Ditto Head family members around.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say about that one lady that called, and all these women that are calling about dealing with their children and their sex questions and all this about Clinton. The way I'm handling it is when these questions come up, they're not that specific with my children. They're just saying, what the heck's going on? And all I'm telling them is, what goes around comes around. This guy's lying, and it's just coming around. It's going to take a while. It's taken 6 years. But now it's starting to come around, and they're seeing this. And so all I'm teaching my children is not these big sex questions or anything. I choose myself when I want to teach my children those principles. But when I'm answering the questions with is, this guy's lied, and now it's coming back around. And he's going to have to answer for everything that he said that's wrong.
And do your kids understand it?
You bet. You bet. Because, you know, it happens in movies. They watch television, and the bad guy never gets away, at least most of the time, you know, in films, or they watch kids that cheat at school, and it always comes around. They're always going to have to answer for that.
Well, that's heartening to know, because there are many people in this country who, and I'm one of them, who think that the message all too often is that the rule breakers get away with it, and that the people who play by the rules and try to do everything according to the dictates of right and wrong oftentimes get the shaft, get the cold end of what ought to be. And I know a lot of people are of that opinion. I mean, they look out there and they see weird entertainment personalities who are absolutely worthless as role models becoming millionaires and being made stars. Now, I will agree with you that in their personal lives, all of that excess will come back and life evens itself out. But whether that happens in public to the point that a lesson can be taught from it, a lot of people think it's not happening enough. But you're in the president's case, it is a good thing to point out, because it is, all these chickens are coming home to roost, to use a cliche. Here is Alan in Tucson. I'm glad you waited, sir. You're next on Open Line Friday.
Thank you, Rush. I think you're doing a real nice service for the country.
What service is that, sir?
Informing the public.
Well, doing our best. Thank you.
Well, listen, what I wanted to bring up is this business about the president's...
And you, time your baby goes to college, the money you saved will be there. Get U.S. savings bonds where you work or bank, and start saving for your baby's college education with U.S. savings bonds. Do it every payday. And you know what? Saving for your baby's college education with U.S. savings bonds might just be the easiest part of being a parent.
It's rockin' America, U.S. savings bonds.
Societal Evolution, El Rushbo, and the EIB network. Just got an email note from a guy who says, Rush, you ask, when did I learn Clinton was Clinton? When was my moment of truth with Der Schlichtmeister? Was watching your television show when you showed the Ron Brown video, the memorial video, where the president is walking away, laughing himself silly, telling jokes with a guy, and then sees the camera, and within one half step, begins to start crying with real tears. That's when I learned the truth. That video woke a lot of people up. Because that video, that one instance, illustrated better than any word or series of words the personality characteristics and capabilities. We've got to close it down for the hour. We've got 1 hour remaining on Open Line Friday. We're going to hope to talk to Tom DeLay in the next hour of Texas. He's out there pushing for resignation, not letting the Republican congressional leadership hide behind the calendar. We'll ask him about it coming up.
While some 800 numbers give you the time.
After the tone, the time will be now. It is now.
1-800-GO-GUARD gives you the chance to give your time. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD, and you can serve communities in need of help. And while some 800 numbers predict your future...
I see a $50 charge on your next phone bill.
With 1-800-GO-GUARD, you can create your own future. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD and find out how you can earn money for college. And while some 800 numbers promise you an instant fortune...
Send me money, and you'll get stinking rich!
1-800-GO-GUARD gives you the chance to make honest money. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD and earn extra income while serving part-time. So while many 800 numbers offer help, only 1-800-GO-GUARD helps you while you help others.
In the Army National Guard, you can.
Sponsored by the North Carolina National Guard, aired by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and this station.
First in Wayne County. Hear what everybody's talking about. 1150 WGBR Goldsboro.
NBC Radio News. Despite the worsening financial crisis in his country, Russia's President Boris Yeltsin just went on television to say he won't resign or be forced out. Correspondent Carol Zimmer tells us U.S. officials are keeping on top of the Russian turmoil.
In a conference call that lasted about a half hour, the president spoke with Vice President Gore, as well as national security and economic advisors about the deteriorating economic situation in Russia. Senior administration officials who are in Moscow have also been given assurances by Boris Yeltsin that he intends to serve out the remainder of his term as president. Despite the turmoil, Clinton is scheduled to leave for a summit at the Kremlin on Monday. It is unclear whether Clinton will be arriving with any kind of bailout offer for the battered Russian economy. Carol Zimmer with the president on Martha's Vineyard.
On Wall Street, investors still a little jittery about the crisis. The Dow is down 34. I'm Barbara Porter.
Say you have a fender bender. Say you get a nice check in the mail from your insurance company so you can go get the car fixed. Fender bender. Check. Is that all insurance is about? Not to Allstate. While some insurance companies believe their obligation is over when they lick the stamp on the envelope, Allstate says it's not just about the check. It's about putting your life right. It's about a nationwide network of over 500 drive-in claim centers to make your claim easier and faster. It's about thousands of approved pro shop repair centers where your workmanship is guaranteed for as long as you own your car. If you already have an Allstate agent, you already know. Being in good hands is the only place to be. If you don't have an Allstate agent yet, call or stop by an office in your neighborhood or find an Allstate agent near you at allstate.com. Subject to availability and qualifications, other terms, conditions, and exclusions may apply. Allstate Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hurricane Bonnie now working over Ocean City, Maryland after battering the Virginia coastline. Virginia Beach Life-Saving Service Lieutenant George Marshall says Bonnie had an attitude, but the damage could have been worse.
It's all superficial. The tree limbs, we can clean those up. Power lines put back up. So it all can be cleaned up in a couple days.
Officials in North Carolina are adding up the cost of Bonnie's punch. They say the storm caused more than $1 billion in damages, with millions of dollars lost as tourists had to evacuate the Outer Banks. FEMA Director James Lee Witt says he's hopeful the storm will move out to sea.
The prediction is right now that it should curve or could curve away from the East Coast without any damage, but there still is that chance that it could that could change and it could strike the East Coast somewhere.
And all eyes are on Hurricane Danielle, now 300 miles from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Most forecasters have Danielle veering away from land, but residents of the East Coast being warned to stay tuned. Presidential confidant Bruce Lindsay back before a grand jury investigating the Monica Lewinsky matter. Correspondent Becky Bailey has details.
Lindsay is back before the grand jury after the Supreme Court refused to block his testimony while considering the question of attorney-client privilege. Meanwhile, sources say there are discrepancies between the testimony of Monica Lewinsky and Oval Office Secretary Betty Currie. The independent counsel is apparently focused on whether President Clinton was behind the retrieval of gifts from Lewinsky. The differences in testimony may make Kenneth Starr's job harder.
Vietnam is releasing more than 5,000 prisoners as a part of a general amnesty, with some American expatriates among them. 2 of them are dissidents who want their cases taken up by the European Parliament. Pay, job security, retirement, and work rules are on the table. That as the Northwest airline talks resume in Minneapolis on a new contract for airline pilots. Both sides are facing a midnight strike deadline. With NBC Radio News, I'm Barbara Porter.
Say you have a fender bender. Say you get a nice check in the mail from your insurance company so you can go get the car fixed. Fender bender. Check. Is that all insurance is about? not to Allstate. While some insurance companies believe their obligation is over when they lick the stamp on the envelope, Allstate says it's not just about the check. It's about putting your life right. It's about a nationwide network of over 500 drive-in claim centers to make your claim easier and faster. It's about thousands of approved pro shop repair centers where your workmanship is guaranteed for as long as you own your car. If you already have an Allstate agent, you already know. Being in good hands is the only place to be. If you don't have an Allstate agent yet, call or stop by an office in your neighborhood or find an Allstate agent near you at allstate.com. Subject to availability and qualifications, other terms, conditions, and exclusions may apply. Allstate Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois.
As a member of the National Security Committee, Congressman Walter Jones understands the world is still a dangerous place. That's why Congressman Jones has fought to protect our military bases in eastern North Carolina. And each year, Congressman Jones has pushed for increased defense spending beyond the Clinton administration's requests. And Congressman Jones opposed putting U.S. troops under UN command. Walter Jones has supported increased funding for veterans' health care needs. And Congressman Jones has repeatedly voted against any legislation that would cut veterans' benefits. Congressman Walter Jones knows that this nation owes a debt to the men and women who have served in the armed services, and he will continue to fight for them and our nation's military. Congressman Walter Jones, proven leadership for eastern North Carolina.
Paid for by Walter Jones for Congress Committee.
Hear what everybody's talking about. 1150 WGBR, an equal opportunity employer.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, I just lit up a fine Monica Nudo cigar. Nice and moist, well humidified. My official oval orifice humidor. Fine smoke here. Welcome back. Our excursion into broadcast excellence continues. It's great to have you along with us.
Live from New York, it's Open Line Friday.
Here's the phone number, 1-800-282-2882, and our email address, rush@eibnet.com. You know, I was just talking to the broadcast engineer, Mike Mamone. I got a lot of sound bites that we had lined up ready to play today, and I've got I got three here from Roger Clinton, who appeared last night on Larry King Live. And I looked at him and I said, Mike, ditch him. I don't feel right in playing these. I feel it would be unfair. The guy's his brother. He loves him and is obviously... Oh, this is so tough. This whole story is getting... Folks, I'm telling you, this whole story is getting tough. No matter where you go, you can't find... And I'm being honest with you now. All these stories about sex addiction and needing clinical help and therapy and counseling and so forth. We are talking here about the President of the United States. And last night, the President's brother is on Larry King Live describing addictions and what it's like when you hit bottom and how the President has hit bottom. He's coming back. He's going to come back. As Roger Clinton, it's just not the kind of stuff that you associate with daily discussion topics revolving around the highest office in the land. And I have literally no problem whatsoever in discussing, and as negatively and truthfully as need be, the policies of this administration. And I don't have any problem at all, really, in pointing out when I think this administration is lying through its teeth for its own political gain. But this story is getting to the point now where the items that are surfacing about it genuinely make me uncomfortable. Not in a sympathetic way for the I do feel sorry for Roger Clinton. I do want to tell you that. Not in a sympathetic way here, but rather in just the dishonor of it all. Now, during the break, I just got some more news. There's more polling data about Hillary and what people think of her in all this. We've got these stories today about the women of America. We got a call waiting here on hold. And I'm going to get to that call here in just a second. And I only have the subject line of this call to go by. So I could be wrong, but I think what this guy's from Phoenix, what he says up there is that this is not about the president, it's about us. And I think that's sadly becoming a little applicable. I don't know that it's altogether true yet, but it is this argument: do we want a president and a presidential family and aura that is no different than the average American citizen, or do we expect the president of the United States to be a cut above, intellectually, emotionally, in terms of honor and decency? We need to look at the responsibilities. We've talked about them again and again and again. The president of the United States can, with impunity, order people around the world to be killed. The president of the United States can, with relative impunity, criminal impunity, order American citizens into situations where they will die. And there are people, therefore presidents, who ask for that power. People say, and I've mentioned this before, people say, well, you had a chance to go kill commies, but you didn't go, so what right have you to talk about the military? What do you know about it? You didn't go. You can sit there and criticize Clinton and his draft dodging all day long, but you didn't go. Well, where were you? What was your draft number? Well, I think there's a huge difference. First place, I didn't dodge anything. I never lied to an ROTC guy about it. There's no comparison whatsoever. But at the same time, I've never sought the power that Bill Clinton sought over the military. I mean, I've never sought power, period. I've never, it's not part of my makeup. It is with a lot of people. It's not mine. Whatever power I have, I don't even know it. I'm not aware of it. But people like Bill Clinton are. It's what drives them. And so you got to be extremely careful about who gets it in this country. And now we see that a person who has this incredible power, look at the stories we're starting to get here. I don't like this stuff about instability and addiction and needing therapy. It doesn't. Some people are comforted by that. Well, he's just like us. He can relate to us. That's exactly what we need. That is not what we need. I will never forget one of the most sobering moments I've had on this program. And it was a disappointing day. The staff will tell you. A guy from Nacogdoches, Texas calls and tells me I've lost touch. On the basis that I can pay my bills because I've been successful and most people can't pay their bills, so I don't know what America's like anymore. And so I really don't understand the people who are listening. I can't relate to them, and I have nothing in common with them anymore. They're all dirt poor, can't pay the light bill, the phone bill, and I have no trouble paying those bills, so how can I possibly know their plight in life? And I just stopped me. So you'd rather have somebody that's going to sit here and commiserate with you every day about how rotten life is, or would you rather have somebody who has been where you are and has probably in as every bad a situation as you think you're in now and has gotten past it and can maybe give you a little bit more optimistic view of your future? I've never understood people who want to be mired in misery, but there are a lot of them. And at the same time, there's this growing, and I don't know how prevalent it is, but there's this notion now that it says something strong about 1990s America, that we have a president who's no different than the rest of us. Now, I don't know about other people who host these programs like mine, but I'm sure there are a lot of people having all sorts of fun talking about these sexual predilections and these what may be some sort of functional psychological disorders, but I'm telling you, I don't like it. I I don't like the president's brother up there and having him on Larry King last night and potentially playing these sound bites. I'm not going to do it. It's just too easy. It would just be too easy. It's I mean, here's Larry King. Let me just give you a question. Just give you a sample question. You didn't see it. King says, you know, there are all kinds of people out there, Roger, who are smoke addicts. They're addicted to cigarettes. Some people are drug addicts. Some people are liquor addicts. Is it an addiction? Does your brother have a problem in that area, do you think? We're talking here about the President of the United States. Of course, then the answer, well, I'm not a specialist or an expert. I do know it's a problem, though. I've been there myself. Oh, stop it. Just stop it. This is not East Timor. You know, we're not the Caribbean superpower of Belize here. Here is the latest Pew Center for Public Research. What is this? The polling outfit. The woman once lampooned as Saint Hillary for seeking the politics of virtue is gaining new admiration. After her husband's public admissions, people now use words like loyal and brave to describe Hillary Clinton. 2 years ago, common descriptions included dishonest and rhymes with rich. And the story goes on to talk about how Americans praise Hillary not only for a private commitment to her marriage, but for accomplishing the public show of an intact White House team. If she can get us through this whole ordeal, she's got a lot to bring to American families and American women. The country could learn a lot. A big lesson from Hillary Clinton here. This was stated by a woman named Carol Chase, a registered independent but Clinton supporter. If Hillary can get us through this whole ordeal, she's got a lot to bring to American families and American women. The country could learn a lesson. What in the world has become of us? What in the world is there to learn here? I mean, of the way this woman means it. The lesson here is, by God, don't ever do this again. One top Clinton aide, never considered close to the First Lady, voiced pure admiration for her. I would walk on hot coals for that woman, but not her husband. Asked to supply a one-word description of Mrs. Clinton, the top 5 responses in a national survey released this week were strong, intelligent, brave, good, and loyal. The top answers 2 years ago, strong, dishonest, intelligent, smart, rhymes with rich. Now, what's the difference in last year and 2 years ago? Or now and 2 years ago? Now she is behaving in a traditional American role as First Lady, and that is wife of the president and nothing else. And that means when you're wife of the president, you sit there and you eat the sandwich, whatever it is made of. They didn't like Hillary when she's out there as co-president and involved in policy. This is what's got the feminists so upset. Her highest ratings ever when she is the most conventional of women. But still, all this stuff is now we got this too. Now this is the largest German language newspaper in Austria has dropped Hillary Clinton's weekly column because the First Lady has failed to address her husband's affair with Monica Lewinsky. A note from the editors to their readers. This magazine has 2.8 million readers. Quote, while the world is continuously confronted with new details about the president's sex scandal, Bill Clinton's wife writes about hurricanes. This has caused strong complaints. This is the reason we have decided to discontinue the Hillary column, What Hillary Thinks, because it's devoid of reality. Maybe we do need to be a little bit more European in some instances. And I want you to hear Scott Ritter. There's one soundbite I do want you to hear, ladies and gentlemen. He's on the Today Show at Matt Lauer. You see, this is real. This is real life. For the longest time, the American people have been told by 2 administrations, Bush and this one, that Saddam Hussein represents the single greatest threat to the modern world with these poison gas weapons, these nerve gas weapons, chemical weapons, biological weapons. And we've got sanctions on him. We're going to root these weapons out. We're going to go in there. We're going to do whatever it takes. We have promised airstrikes. We've threatened airstrikes at no-fly zones. We're trying to keep this guy in check. We're doing everything we can, right? No, we're not doing anything. It's being done so badly that the lead inspector says, I've had it. And I want you to hear his words. Matt Lauer's question. So in the past, where we had demanded complete access to all sites in Iraq, or the Iraqis would face the severest of consequences, that's no longer the case, in your opinion, at all?
No, that's the frustrating part, is that on the one hand, you have the United States saying that we must continue the job of inspections, but as an inspector, you have the United States holding you back, not letting you do your job. And there are weapons out there. There are capabilities that must be accounted for, and we're not being allowed to do it.
And we're not being allowed to, the inspectors are not being allowed to account for those weapons. He knows they're there, and he's being stopped by his own government. His own government denies what he's saying. Who do we believe? The government of Bill Clinton, defended by his brother Roger on Larry King Live, as, yeah, he's at rock bottom right now, but he's on his way back up, Larry. You know, you do bottom out in these addiction scenarios. Or do we believe a decorated Marine who's put his life on the line over there trying to get to the bottom of the existence of these weapons in the Iraqi arsenal? In the meantime, we've got the women of America writing newspaper columns about their moment of truth. Oh, gee, my parent, my kids, they're the ones that made me see the light. I tell you, it is just, I can't wait to get to the guy from Phoenix, because, you know, we have gotten us, well, not all of us, I mean, that's the one positive, but boy, there are a lot of you people that are being represented here in the Oval Office, and you never wanted to be. We'll take a break. Be back right after this. Don't go away.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Say, folks, how would you like to experience a state-of-the-art hydro massage without leaving your home, simply by stepping out on your patio or deck? Think Hot Springs Spa. The warm, swirling waters soothe the sore muscles of your back, your neck, your shoulders, and feet, and they leave you relaxed, refreshed, and rejuvenated. Hot Springs Spas are equipped with an advanced system of hydromassage jets, including the patented exclusive Moto Massage Jet. Now imagine a warm stream of water sweeping up and down the entire length of your back. And by the way, Hot Springs Spas is proud to be a sponsor of the National Arthritis Foundation. My friends, Hot Spring Spas are easy to install and are built to last. They even offer an optional chlorine-free water care system. So if you're looking for a great way to relax or share fun times with friends or family members, you need a Hot Spring Spa. Now, to find your local Hot Spring Spa dealer, call 1-800-299-RUSH or visit them on the web, www.hotspring.com. Call today. That's 800-299-RUSH. Hot Spring Spas, built for a lifetime of relaxation.
Insulting a person whose neck is bigger than your head, taking a 2-year-old to the movies, discussing anything with your father-in-law.
We all do dumb things now and then. Fortunately, paying too much for car insurance doesn't have to be one of them, because a 15-minute call to Geico Direct could save you 15% or more.
Starting a bee circus.
So call Geico anytime. 1-800-947-AUTO. That's 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
Taking care of your parents is of primary concern at the Pines of Goldsboro. That's why they've built an assisted living community that's ready to help whenever your parents need it. With compassionate caregivers and personalized care plans that you help to design, the Pines of Goldsboro is a place where your parents will always feel safe and secure, while still enjoying individual independence. Residents enjoy 3 delicious meals a day, housekeeping services, 24-hour care, a choice of daily activities, and a private studio 1- or 2-bedroom apartment. It takes only a small refundable deposit to hold one, with no long-term contracts or move-in fees ever. Call 919-735-5117 for more information, or stop in for a personal visit and tour a model apartment. Then you can see for yourself that the Pines of Goldsboro is the family friend you've been seeking. The Pines of Goldsboro, 380 Country Day Road, Goldsboro. Caring for your parent and your peace of mind.
Well, it's time to make a list of all the great attractions you're going to hit this summer. Let's see, there's that water park. Don't forget the zoo. Then there's the theme park. And the seashore. And the mountains. Whoa, hold it! With so many places to go this summer, you're going to need help staying in touch. So get the big summer attraction at 360 Communications. Your choice of 360 summer bundled value packs. They bundle together the things you want most, like 30 cellular minutes a month for a year, and residential and cellular long-distance rates as low as 9 cents a minute, all for only $19.95 per month. That's right, just $19.95 a month for 30 cellular minutes each month for a year, plus residential and cellular long-distance rates as low as 9 cents per minute. See store or newspaper for details. Then you'll be ready for all that summer has to offer.
Get your cellular phone reprogrammed to the new 252 area code. Call 1-888-NEW-CODE or visit your nearest 360 location today.
Live Friday resumes on the phones in Phoenix, Arizona with Jim. Welcome to the program. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I must say something too. I'm not trying to be a downer here, but this stuff is starting to repulse and disgust me. And I don't see a whole lot of humor in a lot of this as it goes on and on. But I'm not trying to bring anybody down, so please don't get myopic on me. Yes, Jim, please continue here.
Hello, Rush. You don't. Far from bring us down, you give us hope every day, and I truly mean that.
Thank you.
And I want to wish you Code 3 fire dittos, and I assure you fire engines and stations are booming with your message of truth right now.
Thank you, sir.
You know, Rush, this whole situation, I just have to distill it down to truth is self-evident. And I knew who Bill Clinton was, as many people did in '92. I have not learned anything new about him since then. But, you know, it's the American people. If these polls are correct, which I hope they're not, but if they are, that's my alarm. Because I've learned through your show and through Newt Gingrich and Renewing American Civilization, our founding fathers, Jefferson in particular, said our very form of government was not dependent on a virtuous leader, and that from time to time in the system we have, it was totally expected that scoundrels would obtain positions of power. But a virtuous people, us, wouldn't tolerate it, and we, by power of our vote, get him out of there.
Exactly right. And the vote will have power only if the electorate is informed.
Absolutely. And that's why the media is so important in this, and they're not living up to their responsibility. But you know, Rush, to authority, in my way of belief, it comes from God to us as individuals, and I learned this from Newt Gingrich. We, by our vote, loan it to our politicians and our leaders. It's a choice we make, and the fact that people don't care, that's what has me alarmed. Rush, we would never tolerate a fire chief doing this, or a police chief, let alone corporate heads.
Well, wait, Jim, hold a second. I'm going to do this poll business. I want to ask you to do something. I want to ask all of you to do something this afternoon or tonight or this weekend or whenever you have a chance.
Right.
Whenever you're anywhere, whether you know the people you're hanging around with or if you're at the grocery store checkout line, if you're going in to pick up a Slurpee, if you're at the bowling alley, if you go to a ball game, whatever you do, just ask somebody next, what do you think of this Clinton stuff? Just ask them.
Right.
And then take an informal survey and ask yourself when you've finished asking these people if 60% or 70% of the people that you've asked tell you they love the guy, think he's doing a great job, and want him to stay, continue to doing this job. I don't believe you're going to find in your average walk of life, you're not going to find attitudes and opinion representative of the polling day. I just don't believe those polls in that sense.
Well, Rush, I pray you're right.
Well,
but
try it.
Just let me arm you with one other thing that you actually armed me with. I'll give it back to you. Through reading further, if you will please read Plato's Republic and just look under, it's broken into several chapters, but the evolution of democracy. It is alarming. How, you know, I think that's certainly 2,500 years old. If you look at that and look at the state of our society today, and also if you read about his account of the profile of a dictator. Well, he didn't call it a dictator. I'm nervous right now.
Doesn't matter. We didn't get the point.
But if you look at the profile of, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, the parallel we're running.
Well, you know, you can find a lot of historical parallels. I mean, a lot of people want to go back to the fall of the Roman Empire and say we're right there. And a lot of people want to go back to Nazi Germany and say, hey, you know, we're right there. I mean, you can do that with a lot in history. But I don't think there's a person in this country, other than at a Democratic National Committee meeting or a Democratic Party meeting, other than that, but you just in your general walk of life with an average random sample of Americans, I just don't believe that most of you are going to run into 6 or 7 out of 10 people that are going to tell you they admire, like, or approve of the job that Clinton's doing and think nothing of what he's doing wrong here, and they want him to continue, and they don't understand what the big deal is. I just don't think you're going to find that. You try it.
Think of the biggest, dirtiest, greasiest mess you can. Could be in a kitchen, car, basement, backyard, anywhere. Now, think Zep. Zep cleaning and maintenance products are manufactured for professionals. They're superior, stronger, more effective than average household cleaning products. For 60 years, Zep's been the choice of hotels, hospitals, restaurants, airports, you name it. And now, Zep's available for your home or business. Zep's at the Home Depot. Go to the Home Depot for Zep.
Hello, folks. It's me again, Keith Murray, owner and general manager of Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro. Folks, while we've only been here in Goldsboro 6 months, I've been in the Toyota business for over 20 years. When I came here and bought this store, I handpicked all of our managers, and like myself, they were all born and raised here in Eastern North Carolina. At Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro, we believe that every person would rather have a nicer car than the one they're driving. If you're making payments on a 2, 3, or 4-year-old car, here at Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro, most times we can trade you out of that old car and into a new car for about the same payment you're already making. Now, who wouldn't trade an old car for a new car for the same payment? Here at Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro, we always treat our customers the way we would want to be treated. No high pressure, no gimmicks, no screaming commercials. Folks, here at Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro, our customers always leave happy. Come see us at Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro, where you can rest assured you'll always be treated fairly. That's my promise. I'm Keith Murray, and I'll guarantee it.
Summertime is a great time for many things, especially something as important as education. Academics Plus is your year-round education service, ready to help improve your grades. In school or out of school, learning should continue. For remediation, enrichment in math, reading, writing, study skills, and SAT prep, call Dr. Marilyn or Ken Benton at 735-PLUS, 735-7587. Academics Plus, educating for success since 1989. The tastiest, most delicious food is at Andy's Cheesesteaks in Goldsboro and Mount Olive. Whether it's Andy's famous mouth-watering cheesesteaks, chicken cheesesteaks, fries, drinks, or other choices, enjoy the best. Open every day at 11 a.m. Andy's Cheesesteaks, 400 North Spence Avenue, Goldsboro, and 1023 North Brazil Avenue in Mount Olive.
Cooking up a good time, make it Andy's. Make it Andy's.
North Carolina is growing with new phones, faxes, and computer modems, which means a lot more new phone numbers. So North Carolina has 2 new area codes, 252 in the east and 828 in the west. Starting September 21st, you must use 252 instead of 919, and starting October 5th, you must use 828 instead of 704 for long-distance calls to or within the affected areas. For more information, call Bell South at 1-800-964-7941. Local calling rates will not change.
Bell South. Nobody knows a neighbor like a neighbor.
Yeah, just one taste is all. That's all it takes.
And McCall's Barbecue and Seafood in Goldsboro. McCall's specializes in Oakwood cooked barbecue pork cooked daily. We do chicken and seafood the way you like it. Don't forget our famous country buffet every day from 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. We've got something special for everyone. Open 11 to 9, 7 days a week. McCall's Barbecue and Seafood, Highway 70 East and 111 intersection Goldsboro, and now open in Morehead City and Highway 70 East.
Yeah, just one taste, all that it takes. That's all it takes.
Limbaugh, your highly trained broadcast specialist on Open Line Friday. We're going to take a brief time out to talk with Tom DeLay of Texas, who's on the line with us from Quad Cities Quad City, Illinois. You're out on the campaign stump. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great. I'm in the middle of the heartland of America working for Mark Baker.
Yeah, you sure are. And the reason I wanted to talk to you is that you have not wavered. Since you began on this demand for resignation, you have not gone back and forth. You've not gone back and forth on the Star Report. You haven't said keep it quiet, make it public. You haven't changed your stance. Washington Post today, DeLay mobilizes Hill effort with aim of Clinton resignation. Story is about how you're trying to marshal some support against other Republicans in the House who want to sort of maybe push this aside until after the elections. Give us the lowdown here on what you're trying to do and why.
Well, unlike you, Rush, a lot of the media have missed the point on many different issues in all of this affair. I mean, it's not just the Lewinsky affair. It's all kinds of things going on, and it's basically the president losing the trust and respect of the American people, thereby losing moral authority to lead this country. And there are so many different issues that you have to speak out on. And I'm trying to answer those kinds of questions. I mean, all the Washington experts talking about the Republican leadership don't want this report. We don't want to do anything. That's
what is that?
That's ridiculous. We're going to do our job. Politics aside, we're going to look at what is right and what is wrong. And I am calling for as fast as possible. The American people have said they want this behind us. Now, the way it should be put behind us is the president doing the honorable thing and accept the consequences for his pattern of conduct and resigning. But if he's going to put the country through this, we should get it over with as quickly as possible. And we should stay in session until it's over with.
And forego the campaign trips home.
Absolutely.
I've been hearing people like you can pick a Charles Rangel I heard last night, and some others are saying, look, we don't have enough time for this. We haven't even passed the appropriations bills. You think we ought to, and he's asking the hosts he's asking rhetorical questions, do you think we ought to put this impeachment stuff ahead of the appropriations bills? What's your answer to that?
We will do the appropriations bills, even though the president met with his Democrat caucus the week that we adjourned and told them he was going to shut down the government. We're going to stay focused on our business. We're going to do the appropriations bills. We're going to try to do a tax cut. We're going to set the surplus aside so that the liberals don't spend it. We're going to do what we came to Washington to do, but we're also going to do our constitutional responsibility and carry through wherever the facts may lead us.
Congressman, there has been some confusion out there amongst the rank and file Republican/conservative voters over the mindset and attitude of you Republicans in the House of Representatives, and it's basically about the efforts of the administration here to once again come up with an issue to demagogue you guys on, such as Medicare and all that, the school lunch stuff from 1995 and that budget battle. And you mentioned now the threat to shut down the government. Do many more of your colleagues realize that the situation in 98 is different from 95? The president hasn't been able to get traction on any of these issues that he sought to create for the sole purpose of demagoguing. I mean, it's an entirely different landscape out there. Now, there's no reason to be intimidated or frightened, is there?
None whatsoever. We need to understand that what has carried us through with back-to-back Republican houses is our willingness to face the issues and take them on, even when people are telling us it's the dumb political thing to do, like Medicare. We were told from the very beginning that you ought to leave that alone. They'll attack you, and they tried. They ran more ads than I've ever seen in the world in '96 using Medicare as an issue. It didn't work, and our members are understanding that. We're going to do what we have always told the American people we're going to do. We're not going to back down from it. We're going to push forward. We even had some Republicans say, oh, you shouldn't do a tax cut this year, that we should fence the money off. We told the American people that we would do a tax cut every year until we radically reformed the tax code, and we intend to honor that promise.
John Dingell, a Democrat from Michigan, said, I don't want any Republican effort to keep the Starr report secret to be successful. Now, there are some Republicans, I think, and I'm not trying to indict anybody. I'm not sure if the Speaker has said that he thinks it ought to be presented in executive session, but somebody did. What is your feeling, and what is Dingell asking for this thing to be made public from the get-go mean?
Well, I know John, and he is a very respected member of the House. I beat him to the punch because 2 days ago I called for immediate publication of the executive summary, or as much as we can get to the American people so they can see what's in it. I think, frankly, that Newt needs to stay above it all as Henry Hyde has stayed above it all. But many of us that are leaders need to be speaking out and talking about the different issues. And most importantly, if we're going to get this done this year, we can't fool around with procedural motions and all kinds of things going on. We need to get it to the American people, let them look at it, let them analyze it, and then proceed from there.
Now, are there some people on our side who want to keep this, not just the executive summary, but the whole report as hidden and secret as they can? And if so, why?
I got to tell you, I'm the whip of the House, and it's my job to maintain contact with all my members. And I can't remember a member that has said, oh, we don't need to do this, we need to keep it secret, we need to keep it to our vest. There have been a couple of members that are worried about grand jury testimony being used in a report. That is an issue we'll have to deal with, and whatever's legal we will do. But I have not had one member, and I polled a lot of my whips over this last few days. Not one of them is saying that they are against full disclosure of the executive summary that Ken Starr gives us.
Well, what do you think is going to happen? I know it's hard to predict the future, but you're closer to it than any of us are, and you may know more than a lot of us do and can't say. What do you think is going to happen next 30, 60 days?
Well, I'm not very good at predicting. I'm not a very good gambler, but my gut tells me that when the American people see the Ken Starr report, when they see the hearings held on the foreign contributions, where the director of the FBI, Free, and Labella, the head of the task force, testified before our committee that the president and the vice president broke the law, when they see the hearings on selling our national security to the Chinese, when they see the hearings on Teamsters in collusion with this administration and the Clinton campaign, all of that put together, they're going to see a pattern of conduct. And I think the American people are going to realize that a weakened president with no moral authority is dangerous. It's dangerous here at home, but it's doubly dangerous around the world. In fact, this afternoon I'm calling for the president not to go to Russia. I think a weakened president going to meet with another weakened president is going to confirm what the world knows, that this is a severely weakened president, and who knows what will happen around the world. What is Bill Clinton going to tell Yeltsin? He's going to say, what he needs to tell him is, look, the Russia needs to institute the rule of law. Is this president going to tell Yeltsin that they got to institute the rule of law? What moral authority does he have to insist upon that?
Well, hey, this administration told the Japanese they should institute tax cuts.
Exactly. What is this president, who doesn't believe in the market system in this country, going to tell Russia that they need to be cutting taxes, that they need to be moving towards a market, that they need to clean up the corruption in Moscow? And even if he did tell Yeltsin, what could Yeltsin do about it? He's just as weakened as this president.
What about Scott Ritter and his revelations that the closer he gets to uncovering biological and chemical weapons in Iraq, the more this administration moves in to stop him, so he resigns? What's that all about?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm very concerned about the policy of this administration on dealing with terrorism. I mean, where was the quick and swift action after they drug our soldiers through the streets of Somalia? Where was the quick and swift action over the bombing of our quarters in Saudi Arabia? Now we take quick action. Where's the follow-through? What are they going to do next? At the same time they bombed Afghanistan and Sudan, the United States voted for a resolution in the UN that virtually told Saddam Hussein, okay, do whatever you want to.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's well, so much of this stuff is getting, it's not too hard to understand, it's too painful to understand.
It is painful, but it's a foreign policy that was failing.